In a world where inspiration knows no bounds, a remarkable event took place. Generation Delta. Here, a group of passionate and dedicated Black minority professors came together to ignite the flames of ambition in the hearts of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic female students, guiding them toward the extraordinary journey of postgraduate research. Generation Delta is a 4-year project to improve experiences and misrepresentation of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic female students in postgraduate research, according to Dr. Donna Chambers, Professor of Critical Cultural Studies at the Northern University. In a welcome address, Professor Michael Young, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Sunderland, and Professor John Fulton, Director of Postgraduate Research, also at the University of Sunderland, congratulated and welcomed everyone who made it to the event.
A PhD, it's a big commitment, but one that could be life-changing, could open doors, make fantastic opportunities. So whatever subject fascinates you and whatever questions you want answered, a PhD topic should be something that you believe in. Of course, most of us need a good deal of help, guidance and support along the way. Postgraduate research is all about how we interact with others, it's not just about ourselves. Towards a postgraduate research career, potentially. And I hope everyone has a successful and productive day today.
And on a personal note, I have to say, it's probably the best thing I ever did in my life because it's a great opportunity. You look at something that you really are passionate about, that you want to look at, and in the process you gain a lot of skills, you meet a lot of interesting people. So it's one of the things I think that I enjoyed. I can honestly say I enjoyed every minute of it. So I'm really pleased to welcome you along to be able to discuss the prospects and hear about some of the issues to do with postgraduate research.
To grace the event was Dr. Amaka Ofia, Professor of Pediatric Musculoskeletal Imaging, University of Sheffield, Dr. Shane, George Wood, Professor in Education, Dr. Monica Bernal-Lanos, Research Fellow at the University of Leeds, and other team members. Beaming with smiles, Professor Iyola Sholanke, Dean of Equality and Inclusion at the University of Leeds, expressed her excitement to be part of a project that would challenge the lives of women of colour.
I just want to say how lovely it is to look out at the sea of black and brown faces. It's just something that I haven't had this pleasure at many moments in my professional career, and I think that would apply to all of us. And it's just wonderful to bring you all together. So the context of our project was, as Black female professors ourselves, we were all aware of the underrepresentation that existed when we went through our postgraduate study, and also with the fact that we have very few Black and minority ethnic women coming to us as postgraduate researchers. Students were coming in to complete their undergraduate degree, but were not staying within higher education, and were leaving to go on to industry. And we wanted to understand why that was and try to quell that loss. So we developed this idea of a PGR life cycle, and I think in our first iteration we had maybe 13 or 20 different stages, but we reduced that to just 3. Access to the academy, access to postgraduate research study, retention and progression within the postgraduate degree. The challenge lay in just students coming forward, but our priority is really to work with institutions and to think about what institutions need to do in order to ensure that their postgraduate programs are equitable and are actually serving all of those who enrol on them. We want to work on the contextual offers and contextualised admissions. We want these workshops to support and engage current and future postgraduate research students. We want to create a network of support, so we have created a Generation Delta postgraduate research network. And then we want to, of course, monitor and evaluate our interventions to see how successful they are being in achieving the aims.
Also speaking, Professor of Computer Science at Durham University, Dr. Dorothy Monacoso, said embarking on postgraduate research is worth the while as it opens up endless opportunities.
For me, my career path started when I was probably about 1 or 2, as far back as I can remember. I was fascinated by anything that went into the sky, so it was kind of natural for me to go into engineering. So it's never quite easy, and no one expects it in a sense to be easy, but it's really about taking up the challenges head on and surviving. It's a lot harder than building satellites, it's a lot harder than building rockets. What may be relevant for a white female may not be necessarily good, the same for you. And that's the difficulty with healthcare technologies. But for us in science, it's all about what can you develop, what can you come up with that nobody else has done before. And that's for the classic science and engineering PhDs, like going around all day thinking, what am I going to develop today that nobody else has done? For a woman of any color, and not just blacks, you're constantly questioned, your abilities, your knowledge, constant questions. But that's quite difficult when you start having a degree like a PhD. It becomes more difficult for people to question. And gradually, you find that not only they don't no longer question you, it actually brings you quite a lot of benefits. A first degree doesn't really get you in, because what they teach at undergraduate and master's level is literally just the background. In order to get the actual jobs, you have to investigate at a very sort of detailed level.
This event was not just a meeting of minds, it was a symphony of questions, interactions and laughter, a testament to the power of unity and shared dreams. As Professor Reem Taluk took participants through practical postgraduate research stages by splitting them up into teams to foster team bonding. Highlights of the event also include a panel session where champions spoke about their experiences and journey of postgraduate research studies. In a vote of thanks, participants who traveled across the country thanked Generation Delta for the initiative and hoped that other women of color will take advantage of this life-changing opportunity.
The highlight of today has been the openness, the honesty, the warmth, and the real kind of like detailed expertise to really help us to begin to shape proposals. But really, I think the most important thing has been the actual support network.
I think for me, a lot of ideas of sisterhood come to mind when thinking about an event like this. Just because naturally when you're around people who look like you, have been through similar lived experience, there was a real sense of sisterhood in the room, and it was nice to be able to, even in an academic context, be yourself.
Meeting so many people who are so passionate, so many wonderful women, both that have done a PhD, are doing a PhD, or are thinking of doing one. Everyone I've met today was absolutely fascinating.